Hi everyone, this is Olivia from the Alexandrienne channel, and today we're going to talk about the angle of your dangle. It's kind of sounds funny, but it's all about how to place your dangles to get the emotional effect that you're after. So let's jump right in and get this started. There are a variety of ways to place your dangles to get a certain effect. Now, having said that, like I usually say in most of my videos, it all depends on the reason why. You can create dangles without giving it any thought whatsoever, and they'll come out looking awesome. This is for those times when you want a certain impact. You want to evoke a certain emotion. In those cases, this might benefit you. So this first image, both are the word positivity. The one on the left is totally random. The one on the right is very structured and it has an upward slant. And if you look at them, you will get a different emotion from them because of how the dangles are laid out. To me, anyway, the one on the left looks really relaxed, whimsical. The one on the right looks structured, but it does have an uplifting quality to it. But then again, if you look at the one on the left, right underneath the T, it's got a heart, and then next to that, it does go up. So it does have kind of an uplifting feeling to it as well. Of the two, I would say my preference would be the one on the left because it's just relaxed and whimsical and kind of flows. Whereas one on the right, it tends to lead you more to that certain emotion that you're after, and in this case, positivity or uplifting emotions. Whereas the other one, it's to me a little more natural. But they both end up creating a similar emotion, which is uplifting and positive. Okay, I'll be right back and we're really going to get into this. The first word is the word relax. I created it randomly, only with the last few dangles being at a downward slant. And when you compare it to the next word relax, you will see where I've deliberately made the entire set of dangles go at a downward slant. What a downward slant tends to do is create a more calming effect. I don't know if you can tell the difference between the two, whereas one on the left, like the previous word, positivity, is more relaxed. The one on the right, more structured. They both end up creating kind of a relaxed, calming effect. The one on the right is more structured, so it kind of forces your eyes to go down that road, whereas one on the left, you might not, but you probably will because of the last few dangles. They do go down. Now let's go on and compare peace. On the left, I have it written, dangles are straight across, which creates a calm feeling that everything is okay with the world. And on the right, it is random with a downward slant on the last few dangles, with a few random ones in between there. And this also creates a relaxing effect. But now which one creates a most relaxed feeling? Take a look at the next picture. We have both images that have a downward slant. And I feel the same way as I did with the previous ones, that the relaxed one is more appealing to me. However, the one that is structured, that is where your thoughts will go. That's just human nature. When it has that downward slant, it is more relaxing. Now this next image, I have the answer. Of all of them, the one on the far left would be the most relaxing. It has no tension. Now mind you, it is structured, but it is completely horizontal. There's no slant whatsoever. So it is the most relaxing of all of them. You don't feel any pressure from a slant. Now, mind you, it is structured, but because it goes straight across, you can just relax in that. So it would be the one on the far left. Now, the center two, I was very tempted to put relax first and then peace. But the more I looked at them, the more I decided the word peace was a little more relaxing. And that's because even though it does go at a downward slant, it's not a perfect downward slant, it's more relaxed in its appearance. So that's why I picked number 2, but I'd really like to know what you think. If you think that it truly is the next most relaxing one, or if you think the third letter is the most relaxing one. Okay, the next one is, why is this dangle angle relaxing? It's because it is at a downward slant towards the right. And since we read left to right, we first look on the left side and then go towards the right side typically. That's why that has that effect. On to the next. Both of these are random. Laughter has an upward slant on the right side, which does about the opposite as the downward slant. It brings forth more of a sense of excitement, whereas peace on the right has a downward slant, so it's more calming. So when you're creating your dangles, and you could try this as an experiment, creating them deliberately with upward slants or downward slants on the right hand side, and see if you do get that kind of sense from it. Or just look at these, that's why I created them. Next is positivity, the one that I showed you at the beginning. And you can definitely see it here, I think. As I previously explained, a dangle that has a slant going upwards on the right side is uplifting, whereas one that has a downward slant on the right side is relaxing. Now on to some of my notes that I hope you can decipher. This is just a rough sketch of me trying to point out the logic behind this. On the far left, you see this square that's got a dot in the center. That is just calm. There's no tension whatsoever. It's right in the middle, just relaxing. If you look at the next one, there's some tension because this dot's in the far right bottom corner. Again with the next one, it's in the upper, mostly towards the left side corner. Both of those will create some tension. That's just the nature of it. Whereas the far left one, the one that's in the center, will create calm. So when you're creating your dangles, take that into consideration if you'd like. Me, I do that, especially if there's a word that I'm trying to create, say like positivity. I will try to make an upward slant. Sometimes I'm not even consciously aware of it. Like if you look back a little bit at the positivity and relax, laughter, peace, I did those randomly and I didn't realize I had done it till I looked back and saw that the slants that I gave them towards the end fit in with this concept. Okay, carrying on. The tension is a word that is used a lot in art, and it doesn't really mean tension that we typically think it means. It just means that you feel a rise in emotion. It can be very positive, like on the word laughter. It's positive, but it does create or evoke an emotion. So that's all that the word tension means in this case. Okay, now here are a few things that I've mentioned that you might want to take into consideration. The centered is calming. The straight is calming. Slanted creates tension. Slanted downward is relaxing. Slanted upwards creates, I put tension here, but it's more of a happy, positive type of thing. Not that the downward slant's negative. It's just more relaxing. And a zigzag, kind of random, it creates a little bit of tension, but there's a little bit more of an explanation for that. If the random way that you've done the dangles has more of a feminine type of flow to it, then it's not really going to create that much tension. And if it does, it will create a more relaxed type. Whereas if you use masculine lines, like say a real zigzaggy kind of dangle, it will create more tension than if you use the feminine type. Okay, now going on, I think we covered that pretty well. There are times when you create your dangles for different reasons, and I'm showing some of those here. The first one, I created a page that was meant for people to take notes on. Well, if you have something like that, you're not going to want to put your design all over across the paper. The design itself really needed to be that way. It needed to be out of the way. And on the right hand side of this, there is a dragonfly. I had intended for it to be totally symmetrical. So the design itself dictated the reason why I made the dangles the way I made them. And now on this next image, it is a bookmark, and it tells a little story. If you look at the bottom, you'll see a bird cage with the door open and the birds flying out, and then the words fly, fly away. Into your imagination is what I was thinking. But you can see where the reason I created the dangles the way I did was because mostly limited space. And the secondary considerations were balance. And I also wanted them to help tell the story. For example, you'll see the flowers on the right bottom, and then there's a little heart dangle. That's part of the story of this. And at the top, you'll see a star, and below that you'll see a little cloud, a little rain cloud. I wanted it to also help fill up the page in more of a balanced way. Okay, on to the next. Here are a few examples where I created the dangles for an emotional impact. The word love is somewhat random, but it does definitely have an upward slant to it. So I wanted this word love to have a positive connotation. Now, I could easily have used a downward slant and it would have fit this as well, because love can be exciting or it can be very relaxing. But in this case, I wanted it to be more along the uplifting, exciting side. Now, this next image is of a hummingbird with a flower. And I wanted to use all feminine lines because the way I envision this, hummingbirds are just beautiful, fascinating little creatures. And it was getting the nectar from the flower. And so the whole scene to me was very feminine. I wanted it to have an emotion of being feminine, whimsical, lovely, free. All the words that I attached to it were a feminine kind of thing. So I created every dangle that had either a swirl that was super obviously feminine or at least a slant. Okay, on to the next page. Here's some examples of dangles that I created in a way that I just felt was right for me. There's no particular reason why, other than it just felt right. The butterflies, have you ever been in a field or outside and had all of a sudden out of nowhere all these beautiful butterflies are all around you? And I only had a limited space, but that's not why I created them this way actually. It was just to try to evoke an emotion of butterflies all over. The next one, or the next couple, are flowers. One's a rosebud and one's a tulip. And I created that for the flow, just because I wanted to. And the word exquisite's kind of a unique one here. I have doodads, thingamajigs, whatchamacallits, all over the place. It's exquisite. Just kidding. It's like a feast for the eyes when it comes to where is what. I have dangles coming off of the letters, a few of them, but most of the dangles are coming off of an extension of the letters or off of something that's totally separate. The next one, playful, it's coming all off of the letters, but I just was being playful with it. That's why I did it that way. Okay, now here's a little bonus part. I created these dangles in different ways and I wanted to just quickly cover them with you. The one on the far left, I attached the dangles to the letters only. The one in the center, joyous, if you look at the left, close to half of the word, the left half of the word, I've done the same thing. I've put all the dangles on the letters. The right side, the dangles are coming off an extension of the letter Y. Now on the far right, all of the dangles are coming off of the letter L, the extensions off of the letter L. There are no dangles attached to any of the other letters. It kind of gives that impression, but they aren't. It's all on the letter L. Okay, one more page here. On the far left is the word ideal. And most all of the dangles are coming off of these little extensions that are not underneath or above the word ideal. They're off to the sides. I was experimenting to see how that would look. I like it. I think it's interesting. And now the word dazzling. If you look, you'll see at the very bottom this swirly design that isn't attached to anything. And that's where the dangles are coming off of. Now I have some on the first letter and on the last letter of the word, but none in the center. Now I do have stars scattered about, and there are a couple of little dangles going towards the top, going upward, but most everything falls in that little swirly design at the bottom. I was just pointing this out to you so you can see that there are quite a few ways to create dangles. There are no rules, like I've said before. They don't obey the law of physics. They are there for you to enjoy yourself, be creative, experiment, try new things. And the placement of your dangles fits right in that. Okay, and that's it. Have fun with your dangles. Experiment, play, see what you come up with. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, I would love it, and hit the bell notification below to be notified when I post a new video. And if you have not seen the video on how to draw dangles, which is number 4, I think you should. That will give you more of an explanation about the dangles themselves instead of just where to place them. I will put a link to it in the description box and at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye.